Here it is at last, the Helios Tarot Forecast for the month, or Tarot Horoscope drawn specifically for your astrological zodiac sign. I'm B.R. Newman, in case you didn't know that already. Check out my website, IamHelios.com, through the link below, and consider everything that I have to offer there. Consider signing up to receive any number of the personal readings that I offer, or consider signing up to take a course. The choice is yours. There's a lot to explore there. Also consider checking out Annie Botticelli's Storyteller forecasts to see the astrological side of everything you're going to see here. It's fascinating, I promise. So, okay, I guess we'll just jump right into it. Okay, Cancer, here's your 5-card tarot spread for the month. This is a miniaturized version of the Golden Dawn spread, which uses 15 cards. Here we have 5 to the same purpose. Central theme, 2-dimensional timeline options to choose from, a past section, and a fate section. Here in your central theme, you have the Princess of Swords. Now, this card most adequately sums up or represents the whole story arc of the tarot spread that we're speaking about. So this actually is an entire personality profile in itself. All of these 16 court cards correspond to the 16 Myers-Briggs personality profiles. Few people are aware of this, but the relationship is so obvious. Now, the Princess of Swords directly corresponds with the ISTP, which is the Introverted Sensing Thinking Perceiver. So this is someone who's extremely observant, yet somewhat aloof. They're very hands-on, and they're very practical, but unpretentious. They're always ready for what happens, and they're very pragmatic. So this is somebody who's willing to try anything once. So this is perhaps an aspect of yourself that is coming forward at this time, or more likely, this is an aspect of yourself that is being beckoned forward, because you have 2 very significant choices to make, or one significant choice, 2 possible paths here. On the one hand, you have the Devil card. On the other hand, you have the Eon card. Now, these are 2 major arcana cards, 2 cards of 22 in a 78-card deck that indicate periods of significant transformation, very notable milestones in one's life. These are high-gravity, heavy-hitting cards, which is to suggest that you will be rapidly driven forward through very momentous times. And of course, the prerequisite here is the Princess of Swords personality. So there is some kind of significant opportunity that is being presented to you that is relative to your willingness to step into this ISTP profile. So very simply, be ready to try anything. Pay close attention. Don't get too emotionally invested in trivialities so as to maintain a wide and realistic perspective, considering the nature of the biggest picture you can see. And also be ready for anything. Be willing to accept the changes that come. Because these cards are undoubtedly strong indicators of change, and you can dictate whether or not this change is a positive kind of change according to the nature of your approach. Do you resist it, or do you accept it? Let's look at the 2-dimensional timelines themselves to figure out which choice is more in line with who you truly are and is more in line with the natural energy that is going to emerge at the time your fate section becomes most relevant. So these 2 cards clearly outline a simple dichotomy, illustrating a spectrum of consciousness or consideration, the Devil being the polarity in which there is little consideration, little consciousness, in favor of excess, addiction, or indulgence, and the Aeon is careful consideration, strategic analysis of one's life in order to gain a more controlled grasp on the principle of cause and effect, the assumption being each choice has consequences, whereas the Devil really does not consider consequences. The Devil is about this moment. However, in healthy doses, the Devil card can represent a time in which one begins to prioritize the self in a healthy way, in a functional way, in a productive way. However, when such potentials are juxtaposed with the Eon and all of the implications therein, its nature is clearly defined, then being a dimensional timeline of self-indulgence, obsession, and the excessive pursuit of immediate gratification. In which case the Eon presents itself as the clearly wiser path to take, which is not, of course, to rule out the obvious benefits of taking the Devil path. You simply get what you want when you want it. However, this brings to attention the importance of the principle of cause and effect. So consider very deeply the chain of cause and effect that shall spring forth from every choice as you make it in real time, so as to simply optimize the nature of your fate section, which is the Ace of Discs, the primordial essence of the earth element, which represents everything from the roof over your head and the money in your bank to the cells in your body and the lifestyle that influences those cells and their cellular integrity or lack thereof. So we can thus deduce that these 2-dimensional timeline options and the choices that you make considering them will directly impact your finances, your resources, and your physical health. Of course, any one of those being compromised immediately undermines the others, and any one of those being accentuated or improved or expanded does, therefore, at least present the potential for the expansion of the others. So bringing this back again to the central theme, in order to maintain a very clear perspective on the choices that you have to make, embody that profile, the ISTP. Be ready for anything, pay close attention, avoid trivialities, and be practical. Don't hesitate to get your hands dirty, and also avoid pretentious claims. So humility is crucial. But also embrace whatever forms of confidence you can summon. It could be said that true optimism is not one's loyalty to the assumption that the universe is taking care of them, that the world and the universe is aligned in their favor, but rather loyalty to the assumption of one's own strength and ultimately impervious nature, one's own ability to persist and persevere despite challenges. So moderation is also key here. The devil does not value moderation in any sense. However, the ISTP personality can and does, as they are willing and ready to try anything, just about anything once. Trusting their natural ability to be discerning, to be responsible, and keep it to only once. So you can actually see here how the Princess of Swords is in itself inherently the natural guide or roadmap to consciously taking the Aeon path. So therefore, the Princess of Swords, as I suggested before, is the personality profile through which you will make the wisest choice or will have the clearest sight on things, and so therefore it lines up quite appropriately that the Princess of Swords, when clear in her own mind, would take the Aeon path. Okay, so this is all inspired directly by the Eight of Cups in your past section. Now, the Eight of Cups, like all eights in tarot, is associated with Hod on the Tree of Life, Sphere of the Eight, which has to do with action taken from acceptance and surrender as well. And as manifest through water, this is moving on after stagnation, to tend to one's own needs after a long, drawn-out period of no progress, or at least unsatisfying levels of progress. So boredom, essentially. Boredom has set all of this in motion. You're ready for change. You're ready to take the wheel, so to speak. Therefore, so long as you are willing, considering the opportunities that are being presented, so long as you are willing, you will take the wheel and thus become adept at steering your vessel towards your own decided fate, so as to prepare for the resources that are to come, that are going to eventually fund and fuel your consistent pursuit of higher and higher levels or dimensions of this decided fate of yours, which is an evolving process. The fate that you decide is subject to change. So long as that change feels good when it comes in real time, you know that you're making these choices consciously. So these opportunities are familiarizing you with your role in the principle of cause and effect. And that about wraps us up, so thank you so much for listening to this. Check out my website at the link below, IamHelios.com. Consider everything that I have to offer there. I'm offering readings right now. We can go so much deeper, take this so much further, taking a vast wellspring of resources into account. Of course, astrology and tarot, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and cutting-edge science. There's so much to consider, and you can take this so far and do so much with it. So I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much.